Anybody ever have this come out of their mouths? Right? I mean, come on, really? I mean, come on, right? Right? Everybody, at some point you've said, I can't do it, right? And it's nothing to be ashamed of, but we all say it. I can't do it. What I want to do is talk about how to overcome this when it really matters to you. Because really, this gets in our way more than we want to admit, right? It gets in our way a lot. It gets in the way of our dreams, our accomplishments, what we want to do with our lives. I can't gets in our way. And what I want to talk about is a way out of it if you really want to. Everything's a choice. You can stay anywhere you want to stay, but if you want to get out of I can't, there is a way out. And that's what I want to focus on today. Honestly, probably won't take that long because it's pretty simple. If you're interested in what this is a whole presentation in and of itself. Basically, you can think of these as kind of like levels of energy or levels of thought. It's kind of where we tend to inhabit on any given point in our life. This is a spectrum that actually goes lower even and actually goes a lot higher. I'm just focusing on this one area because I think this is really critical. So usually in an I can't, what underlies it is some kind of fear or collection of fear. So what I want to use is canvassing specifically as an example because I think there's plenty in canvassing that is terrifying. But so what are some common fears about that come up in canvassing? Rejection. Yeah, that can be painful, that can be scary. Negativity in general, nobody wants to deal with that, right? It just brings you down. Sucks. Right?
Angry homeowners.
Anger, right? Encountering anger, angry people, frustrated people, time wasters. I like that. I like that, time wasters. I'm going to throw up public speaking. Because that's really what you're doing. Honestly, another fear failure. Fear of it, right? It's not going to work out. I'm not going to hit my goal. I'm not going to achieve my, desired outcome. Whatever it is, like that's a real fear, right? Yeah, is a dog going to jump out at me? Is somebody come with a gun? Are they going to yell at me? I mean, anything, right? Are they going to look at me sideways, make me feel bad about myself? I mean, all of it. Right? People are afraid to do what you do. Right? And the ability to then face those fears and address them and overcome them is tremendous. Jay says if you can knock on a stranger's door, you can go knock on a CEO's door. Right? There's no door that's left that you can't knock on. Right? It's just, I mean, most people are afraid to ask for an opportunity. You guys are doing it every day, all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's an incredible skill set to have. The can't is really just your way out. These are the things that are driving I can't. Right? It's like these are the reasons why we end up saying I can't. Because we're fucking afraid of all this shit, right? Let me ask, so this is where we're at, right? At this level, we're here. And it drives us to say this. Let me ask you though, what's on the other side? What's on the other side? What do you want out of canvassing? Achieve your goals. Tell me about that. What is your goal? 100K, car, house, investments, I mean material well-being. Right? How about, what is it? Emotional stability. Tell me a little more about that. That's great. Generational wealth. Excellent. Yeah, Deb.
I'd say pride.
Pride? I mean, that's a big one, right? I mean, in the sense that, like, again, you guys, if you're conquering these, you got to feel good about yourself, right? I mean, you're hitting your goals. That feels good, right? You're seeing the results. That feels good. What is it? Happiness. Right? Celebrations. So what I want to say is you guys see all this as an opportunity, right? What I want you to think about now is these things, fear about these things, fear about failure, fear about somebody attacking you, the negativity, confrontation, fear of public speaking, fear of the unknown. All those fears can get in the way of this, of all these things. Everything that you want from this these fears can block. Doesn't that kind of piss you off? Does it make you angry, right? You see where I'm going, right? You know where I'm going. Doesn't it piss you off? I mean, really, don't you deserve these things? Now, let me ask you this. How many times have things like this or other fears got in the way of other things that you wanted? Relationships, right? Other opportunities, other areas of growth that you could have had, performance you could have had, sports, whatever it is, things that you want. Fear somewhere probably got in your way at some point. When you start to get angry about it, you get a lot of energy, right? Now, you can go different ways about it. You can get pissed off and take it out on somebody, which isn't where I want you to go, obviously, right? Anybody here been angry before? Right? Yeah, exactly. It's like the question about anybody said, I can't, right? With anger, there's just a lot of like energy to it, right? Some people, it's scary and they kind of withdraw from it. Some people get addicted to that energy and they want more of it, you know what I mean? Neither one is a good response, really, because what you want to do is you want to take that energy and direct it towards something positive, right? You want to create something out of it. All the great social movements, right, began in anger, and then somebody said, we got to direct this anger to something positive and create change, right? That's what that is. So when you get angry, and you're angry at these fears that have been holding you back, and you realize, hey, I deserve better. I don't deserve to be stuck here, right? That feeling of pride, that's not you, that's not your destiny, that's not where you're meant to stay, will move you into courage and to actually do something about it. When you move into courage, these things don't bring you here. These are not excuses anymore. These are not reasons why you can't. These are just the obstacles. When you move into courage, you look at these things and say, okay, all right, well then how do I get better at public speaking? I can do that. There's books on it. There's people here that know how to pitch well. I can work with them. I can watch people. I can go try it myself. I'll learn, or I can, right? Rejection, same thing. How do I get over it? I will, right? Yeah, it's the same thing. I will, right? So like rejection, right? It's a fear. It can hold you back. But if you get to the level of courage, you can say, well, how do I get over it? How do I get over that fear? I go out and I experience it over and over again. I get positive about it. I say, great, I got rejected like 90 times today. That means that I've been through 90 rejections. How many people can say that in their life, right? Most people are like terrified. I'm going to get rejected. You do it fucking all day long. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But I'm serious. Like, it's just the law of averages, right? Like, what's your rejection rate? I'm curious. Anybody know? Do you know your numbers?
5 or 6 before yes.
5 or 6 before yes. So you get through 5, right? And you're like, fantastic. I've been through it. That mentality is so rare in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's a mentality that most people do not have. I would say 95%, that's just ballpark, right? But 95% of people do not think, I got to get through all these rejections so I can get to the yes that I want. And most people are like, oh, rejection. I hope they don't reject me. I'm going to go this way. Forget it. I can't. Right? Am I right? Well, okay, fine. You want to call them feeble-minded? They just haven't had the opportunity that you have to go after and experience it, right? When you have experienced fear and you've overcome it, it just changes your perspective on what you need to be afraid of. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've been through some major trauma, or you spend every day facing your major social fears, you go somewhere else and work and then you realize, man, everybody's afraid of a bunch of bullshit. You're like 10 miles ahead of them, right? You're just like, you don't have to worry. Like you're like, I'm not afraid. Where everybody else is pulling back, they don't know what to do. You're like, just get right there and you talk to the person. It's not a big deal because you've done it 1,000 times in a week probably. So what I want you to see is this is a dynamic that you can really take to anywhere in your life. What I mean is this kind of movement. If you find that there's an I can't, right, and it's something that you really want, that should kind of piss you off. And then you should recognize, hey, I deserve this thing. I'm worth this thing, right? And that will move you into the courage to actually go after it. And all of a sudden, you can't becomes I can. Yeah, that's really what I want to leave you with. Is once you go on this journey once, That's why I was using canvassing, because it's obviously it's relevant, it's relevant to all of you guys. But once you go on this journey and you realize, hey, I was stuck here, which was really about being stuck in fear. And then I found a way to move through it. Anytime it comes up again, you're like, okay, well, let me sit down. What are my fears? Okay, well, then, is this something I really want? Then, yeah, then I'm kind of pissed, right? I appreciate you guys. Any feedback? You guys like this?
Yeah.
All right, good. Good. Excellent.
Thanks for coming, George.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.